Hello, everybody. Welcome to the TOME episode 14, Monstrosities audio commentary. My name is Chris Niosi. I am the creator, writer, animator, head honcho of most things on TOME, and I'm the voice of Kirbopher and Zeto, who's right here with his big-ass nose. I'm joined by three very talented folks. This is going to be a music-specific commentary. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
Who's starting?
You.
Oh shit! Oh shoot! I am Cadet, or Master Cadet, or Kajetokun. I compose music for this. There you go. That's
All
it.
right. That's pretty simple. And I was about to make a big introduction and stuff like that. Never mind. I'm Yoav, also known as the LivingTombstone. I am the music producer, arranger for everything that Cadet makes, basically. For most of season 2 and some select episodes. Special episodes. Next one.
I'm Stephen Kelly. I do the orchestral arrangements for Tome, and I was the voice of Serpentine as well.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. You know her name.
So this is our second to last episode. This was a big one. Strangely short, a lot shorter than I expected it to be. But a lot of major stuff in this one. And I thought this would be a good place to, because all three of these gentlemen's work is kind of featured throughout the whole show, throughout this whole episode in particular. And by the way, guys, if not, Chris, we're doing this completely impromptu. By the way, we just set us up, and some of us met each other for the first time in the last 10 minutes. Feel free to talk over me or interrupt me of my
interruption. Shut up.
Please.
Okay.
No. All three, Kajet, Tombstone, and Steven's work is all heard in this episode, so I thought this would be a good one to talk about, just kind of the music process in general.
Mm-hmm.
So Kajet, you've been on board the show since the beginning, since the very first episode. And as of when we're releasing this, we've also just put out the season 2 soundtrack. How's it been? I can't imagine what it must be like, because my musical inclination is very limited compared to y'all, but what is it like hearing a lot of these arrangements by not just Yoav and Steven, but a lot of the other guests we've had on the show, like hearing arrangements and remixes and things of your music in the context of the show?
Okay, well, I absolutely
different interpretations and stuff. How does that feel?
Yeah, I absolutely love it a lot, hearing my music in other people's arrangements, because when I look at myself, I'm a guy with Fruity Loops and sound fonts, and I have no idea how to use anything in Fruity Loops. I literally don't know anything other than the piano roll. That is all I use. And maybe I add echo.
Hypothetical Fruity Loops Power High Five over here. Yeah, can you give me that? Yeah, thank you.
Awesome software. I don't know
I love it.
the equalizer. I don't know what the limiter means. I was never trained in music. I just follow my intuition. So when I hear these people that are actually super, good at this stuff, doing my arrangements, or doing arrangements of my music, it's like, wow, that's amazing. It sounds great. That's what it should sound like.
I said literally 10 commentaries ago when we did the episode 5 one that your tunes are super catchy, super memorable. They fit in with any other classic NES or Super Nintendo or what have you.
Absolutely.
Type of game soundtrack, and having these folks and also folks like John Robert Matz and Ivy Tran and other
John Robert Matz, you should us to him. He's amazing.
Yeah. He did the smooth jazz version back in the tournament as well.
Yeah.
CD 101.9. But Yoav, I'll go to you next. So I brought you on board episode 7.
Right. I did the piano calm music for that one. I remember. It was it was a scene between Flamegirl and Katie.
Yes, and Shady,
under the pressure, I just forget
and not
names.
Alpha, the name of
not
the
Alpha. No, screw him.
Shady.
Who's Alpha? Some guy in the show. Yeah, I was there for during that time, and I thought it was kind of like a one-shot take, because I remember we only talked briefly at that point, and we were hey, just make me this piano arrangement, and after that we haven't talked much, and after that we kind of decided to work more as a result. So it was this one, the piano arrangement, that I did in 10 minutes, and after that, I think the next thing I did for you was composing an entire soundtrack, but I don't remember if it was that or was something else before?
I think what came after that was, funnily enough, with Steven regarding Serpentine, was the Legend of Nylocke short. Was the first time you fully scored a cartoon in the show.
Yeah. Like, doing that, I think it was the first, actual experience that I actually had for, like, producing an entire soundtrack from start to finish, because until then it was, like, composing, like, incidental music for, like, a couple of, like, let's say, advertisements or commercials or stuff like that for, like, back in the day I used to do that a whole lot more often. And it wasn't until then that I actually got to do this and make an entire soundtrack from scratch. One thing for sure is that I learned a lot from just, knowing what to put out so it feels like it's coherent and actually moves with the episode. It doesn't feel like it takes away from what it's about and everything, because soundtracks should be in the background and should, like, follow everything else in the episode visually and stuff. So it was a lot of fun.
It's interesting too, because from when I was editing the audio the way that I do for how the show's produced, and I've been just kind of shifting the different tracks that Cadger provided me around. It was kind of more in, like, an anime style where, like, they have, like, X amount of tracks to draw from, and then they just kind of, like...
Right, it's like a pool of music, and you just, grab whatever.
Yeah, depending on whatever is necessary at the time. And then with The Legend of Nylocke, and then Plan Z, and then especially Episode 0, which was, more or less like a 20-minute long...
yeah, it was even more serious. Like, how long was The Legend of Nylocke again? Like, 12 minutes of soundtrack, I guess?
Not even. I think Legend of Nylocke and Plan Z were maybe they were, like, around 8 minutes or so, both
right,
of those.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, it was really interesting because that was the first time I ever had, like, a real score done to an entire continuous piece of animation. And also, speaking of which, we have one of your tracks in here, the kind of mechanical...
yeah, that was actually more incidental music, because I remember you told me... Because I didn't make this for Plan Zero or Legend of Nylocke. You just told me I need some music to fit in this one, and then you start to use that as incidental music in the show. It was one of many
even the stuff you did for Legend of Nylocke, I ended up reusing a lot of that later in other episodes.
Even though I kind of, to be fair, at that time when I made the Legend of Nylocke music, again, that's more of a technical thing, but at that time I had to relearn everything about FL Studio, because what happened, I used to make music in a very, like, eclectic way. I don't know, like, the way I did things is that I didn't even mix well, I didn't even do things well, and I had to fix most of the stuff, and that's why some of the tracks, well, if you notice this more often, you will see that some of the drums are louder and some of the stuff are not supposed to be the way they are, but since it still works and it's still in the episode, you still use that anyway, which is both a virtue, and both also kind of like, oh man, I could have, like, mixed it, made this sound way better if I could.
It's interesting too, because, like, see, with this scene that just started, we have the classic "The Virus" track that Kajet was. I think this was the first piece of music that you composed specifically for the show, which was an arrangement of "Awaken the Beast." And I actually was kind of hesitant to use this music for this part at first, because it had been used in so many episodes over and over for situations like this. But it synced so perfectly with absolutely everything going on in the scene that I'm like, I have to use this.
It's so satisfying when that happens, when you're editing and you just throw in a music track, and it changes the whole scene, because it brings attention to things, and it's
especially if it gives vibes, and
it's like adding color to a picture. All of a sudden, it just wow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like adding saturation on Photoshop.
On that, God, on that note, Steven, so I guess not so much scoring, because I mean, all three of you guys have now had to.
Did we all work the same way? Did we have the infamous
well,
track?
not with everything, but all three of you guys have now had to unfortunately suffer through my stupid sounding Acappella tracks of what I want. You don't know what the hell.
I've never worked that way before. That was you literally just sent Chris literally just sent me a file of him singing the music.
I remember for season one's intro. It's before I kind of made it and it just kind of looped on its own. You're like, oh, I need the song to end.
We told the story on the episode 5 commentary. Yeah,
just
clip.
So funny.
Just
and
you just
end
sung
it
it
with
out. Okay, I could do that.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, and then I think Yoav, I think you did that also for the rock and roll version of Battle On that we used in
No.
episode
I remember
8.
when you did this, it was like for I don't remember what it was called, but I remember it sounded like. Like it was.
That's right. It was the Zeto versus the Demon Zeto versus Alpha.
Oh yeah, here you
that
go.
too. Yeah, that was the one. So there are multiple. I swear to God, people are going to be asking for them now, probably.
Dude, we should do an entire episode with Acappella.
I have a couple of these in my my Dropbox still. So if you want, I can like give it to you. If you want to.
Oh my God. No, I still have them. Just
okay.
I don't want to hurt people's ears with. There's a whole collection of just me doing stupid acapella arrangements. It's mainly for sync, for making
You should
the
release
animation
them as an
sync
album.
easier. Oh God, yeah, maybe I'll make them secret tracks on some CD someday.
Yeah.
On a more serious note, now that we're entering, this is oh my God, this sequence. I was looking forward to this since like the beginning of the show, and Steven, so Steven did I kind of came up with the arrangement of this, and these are all comprised of different tracks that Weston has done throughout the whole show, and then Steven beautifully orchestrated this, and it sounds like a big, amazing, like, you know, final battle video game boss type thing that I'm super happy with. I mean, Steven, please, I don't know if you're I would imagine that your process is probably a little bit less eclectic than all of ours in terms of what we do. I have no idea, but like, do you want to talk about this?
Well, I use Cubase, which is a sequencing program, and I just use lots of orchestral instruments that you load in, and you know they're actually built from samples of real instruments. So every single note is actually the real sound of a violin or a cello or whatever, but they're sequenced into a program and compiled as something that you can use. And they're very inspiring to work with because they do just, they're getting better and better, and with all the legato programming and things, you can really get real sounding phrases from these instruments. And you write it in, and you've got a Hollywood Symphony Orchestra playing playing stuff. But it takes a lot of time because you've got to work on all the expression and the dynamics and the natural shaping of the music. But it took quite a while. Because I was just listening to the Acappella track, I'd have to think, okay, what kind of percussion do I want to use here? What kind of do we want brass? Do we want woodwinds? What instrument am I gonna use for the tune here? It's
and to make his life easier, I also tried to provide a lot of like references of like a lot of music I'm sure you were already familiar with from like Final Fantasy and a lot of Yoko Shimomura stuff.
No, I think we were thinking of a lot of the same influences in terms of like Smash Brothers is a really useful thing to think of because that's a lot of kind of 8-bit or SNES type music that's been put into an orchestral context. So they do it very well, and I had that in mind.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Fun in the Dreams in Melee, kind of like putting it through much of a big like orchestral thing. Yeah.
Oh, totally.
Yeah,
I mean, it's the same basic kind of. It's funny you mentioned Smash. It's kind of like the same basic concept where, like, Kajet, you had all these like NES and SNES type arrangements that you did inspired by the people that you liked, and then they get arranged in these different ways by Yoav and Steven in that like in like you look at Melee's soundtrack and you hear these incredible like full orchestra or Brawl and the recent one as well, the Smash Wii U and 3DS game, where they have like these big amazing Nobuo Uematsu doing stuff and all these big people. It's like it's pretty incredible.
Yeah,
and
between the three of us, we've basically covered the whole spectrum of 30 years of games music.
It's pretty great. It's next we just got to get like an actual full like Philharmonic set of people to do something. By the way, I want to give a little explanation. That bit where Curb was spinning and doing the stabs. Somebody pointed out to me that apparently the opening bit to the Attack on Titan theme sounds kind of like Battle On from Tome. So I had Steven do kind of like the da 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 da, kind of like the
oh, totally.
That's what it was. That's what it was supposed to be.
I'm sorry, Chris. I'm sorry, Chris. You're about to die, and it's my fault.
Oh no, Kajet! How could you do? Yes, Kajet is the monster is named after our beloved musician. So, thank you for squeezing the life
I just killed
out of me.
Chris, guys.
No, it's okay. I come back in the next episode. Spoiler.
He'll get better.
Yes, but speaking of also, in the following episode we had not to spoil everything in case people haven't seen it, but the big final battle, the very last final battle piece that you did for episode 15 is. Oh, I got chills. We were crying when we were watching that at the Anime Expo screening with everybody. That was an incredible piece that turned out. So thank you. Well, I guess we're kind of getting to the ends. First of all, I want to thank you guys for all the amazing work you guys have done for the last 4 years on this show.
It's been a fantastic opportunity.
It's been really incredible.
Yeah, it's
I
been
guess
great.
while we're kind of getting towards the end, we have got about like 2 minutes or so left. Do you guys have any favorite tracks, whether you did them yourselves or one that Kajet did or one that Yoav did or Steven or anything? Any particular favorites that you have?
I do. I have to remember the title of it. Hold on a second.
Or you can just hum a few bars.
It's Yoav's arrangement of the Net King battle theme.
Oh, right,
I like
that's
that one a
right,
lot.
Yeah. That was Dance of the Queen. I think.
Oh yeah, Dance
Yeah.
of the Queen.
Kind
Real
of
talk,
spirits
I
battle.
recently listened to it again, and I realized that it sounds very similar to Kirby's one of the bosses themes, like da 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 da.
Wait, really?
Kinder
and
Spirit
the
is
good thing is
inspired
like,
by a person who runs a Kirby website.
Oh
so.
yeah.
Oh, okay. It's funny because I would have never thought to go there. If anything, I feel like it would go to the more obvious Pokemon, which I realized after I did the intro to the.
A lot of
theme.
people
are like,
figured that.
"Oh,
They saw
Pokemon."
that too.
It does help that whole sequence was basically the Elite Four, or the Elite 5, or how many Net Kings are there? I don't know.
However many you want there to be.
Yeah.
My favorite, I think, still weirdly enough, is the slower version of that, the animatic awe. I love listening to that one while I'm like doing laundry or something. Steven, Kajet, Yoav, any others?
we have all worked on Battle On now, haven't we?
That's
Oh,
true.
yeah,
Terrific little.
that's true.
It's a great little tune. I love it.
Yeah.
Your the next exciting episode version of that for the ending. I think that's another favorite. I love
Oh,
that.
I think
Yeah,
that's the
I
best
heard that
thing
at
I've
Anime
done
Expo,
for
that
this,
was
was
great.
Just arranging that tune.
that was the recap version.
I
Too.
like
We had
that
Anime
recap
Expo.
song.
Yeah. And Yoav, how
was
about you? You
bobbing
got a
in my
favorite?
seat.
In the last 10 seconds, you got a favorite, Yoav?
Oh,
real
look
quick?
at that music. Yes, it's all of my favorite. Yes.
Good night, Great. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
His favorite was your mom.